Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Creative Gardener. So I thought I would give you a update um, of things that are happening, and it's easier to do it from here. This is the upstairs of my art studio, and I'm just thinking I need to get that cut. This is the mahogany tree, and we have to kind of keep it regularly trimmed because we don't particularly have them right now, but you get tree rats and they get into the house. So anyway, let's look at what I'm doing in the three different beds we've got here in the garden. And in this first bed, it was always like this first one was like an experimental bed. So if I had been given cuttings, usually if I'd been given cuttings or a plant that I wasn't quite yet sure where I wanted to have it, what I would do often is, what I still do is put it in there. I do now have a few established plants, like here I've got another Mexican sunflower growing, I've got a moringa tree here. But for the rest of the bed, at the moment, which you can't see, at this end I have a bougainvillea growing, and I want to move that to the front of the house. Then in the next beds I've got, what have I got here? I've got lemongrass and I've got a cotton tree and my lemon tree. In the row behind, I've got golden apple. So there's a golden apple there. I've got my basil plant. I've got another golden apple, and I've got scarvola. That's yeah. So that one there is scarvola, and then at the back here we've got the Mexican sunflower, another couple of moringa trees, and another lemongrass. So this was generally going to be, initially it was going to be my, where I did the herb bit, but then I started deciding, well, I don't want it to be strictly this is a bed and this is for this particular thing. I had also grown in this particular one okra, and at the moment what I've done is put some more okra in there, and in the front one here I've got some peppers, but they don't seem to be taking. So luckily I didn't plant them all out, and in this little container here I've still got some more seedlings that I'm going to put in a pot and allow them to grow, not in full sunlight. I think they probably need some sort of shading, and that was another reason for planting some of the trees. So we'll get some nice dappled shading from the moringa trees that are growing here. So we've got one, two, there's one there at the end as well. So I think between them, oh, and I've got one there. I think in all, I had initially planted 15, and 11 of them came up. So they're kind of scattered around as I was trying to decide which spot was going to be, more rich. And they've kind of just all surprised me at different points. And I think for this particular garden, what I've noticed is water is the key. Because we're on a slope, they don't get an even spread of water. So it slopes downwards. And so where the ones that, and I guess that's really the case throughout the garden, apart from on this end, which is, it's a lot higher up. But for the plants that are to the back of the garden, trees, they have found it more difficult to thrive. And since we're now in the rainy season, they're kind of picking up because we're getting some rain. So as you can see at the back, none of this was here, and I managed to plant up the Mexican sunflower, and as you can see, it's providing a really great kind of mini hedge, and I'm taking that all the way around the garden. And so again, now it's the rainy season, I'll be able to patch up those particular spots, and as we go further around and to the front. At the moment, what I've got here, because there's no soil there whatsoever, it's just like rocks and kind of gravel. The only thing that seems to be growing there is the broadleaf thyme, which seems to grow everywhere. So, as I said, we've got bird of paradise at the back, and again, I'm moving this. I had one plant there, and it's grown into several plants, and I've been able to get lots of flowers. And what I was thinking recently was, I think I might, along here, I've got a cotton plant. I've got a wheelbarrow with some Mexican sunflower, and I just really want to take that along this side so that you get the brightness of the yellow flowers and you get the food, the fertilizer from the leaves. So moving on to the next middle section, I've been growing cassava in the back portion, and I continue to do so. What needs to be done here is just to remove the grass, and in between the cassava plants I've put some okra plants, not in this section but in that section at the back. And I want to kind of just continue. I've got some melon seeds to get in. I've got quite a few other plants and flowers to get in, and so I want to keep this middle section for things like the cassava, which in 7 to 8 months they're ready for harvest. I've again got 2 moringa trees. There should be 4 in this section as well. I've got 1 here which is doing quite well, and there's 3 here, even though again they were planted at the same time. They've all done it differently, but the 2 smaller ones are picking up. There's just so much green. Again, Mexican sunflower, which is providing nutrients for the front of the garden. So what I think I'll probably save the next bit for another video so that I can really kind of explain more. At the back here, what I want to do is put in some squash. So that's what we're going to do with that, and put in some of the melon there. So I'm going to leave it there.